Today, we're going to talk about a very interesting topic that people often ask me about. And you may have, this might have run across your mind too. And the question is, am I cursed in love? And I know it could really feel that way sometimes when dating has been really hard and you've been in bad relationships. But I want you to know that this idea of being cursed in love is something we're going to totally eliminate from your thought process or considerations. Because look, in order to find love, we need to be in full and total alignment with the energy of receiving, of having love. We need to be in massive congruence. But sadly, because of our experiences in the past, we get into this headspace of, oh yeah, maybe it's not in the cards for me. Maybe I am just cursed. And I have had clients, and I'm going to interview one. I'm going to share it with you. Two specifically that felt this way. Cecile totally felt that way. Bari, I really think it's voodoo. I think it's a curse. Now, in her real life, she's a nurse. She's really smart. She moved to this country from Cameroon 20 years ago, and love just never worked for her. Another client, Missy, she also comes from another country, and she emigrated here when she was like 18. And she has sisters, and all of the sisters of them all, none of them got married. So they think it's family curse. We're not married. And in their lives, they're all successful. They're successful professionals. So what is this about a curse? What is this about that we can't seem to bring in love? So what I really want to show you is that it's really all about mindset. It really is all about our beliefs. So where do you think this idea came from? So we always look at, is it from the past? Is it from the present? Or is it from the future? So if we feel cursed, we're actually making up a story. I'm cursed, it can't happen for me. And this always, without exception, comes from childhood. And so, but many of you dismiss it. No, it's not from my childhood. I'm self-aware, I've been to therapy. It's not. It's the men. I want you to know that we need to uncollapse that idea and look a little bit deeper at the truth of what's really happening. So are you willing to have this beginner's mindset and look at the journey differently? So if you are, I am willing. I want to know in the chat, if you're watching the recording, I am willing, because your willingness to change perception is going to change your reality. Okay, so let's really look at it. Let's look at it for a minute. Where did this idea come from? So the idea always, again, like it comes from childhood. And it's the things that we hear in childhood. So I'm going to give you a great example. How many of you grew up hearing from your mothers, you don't need a man. You need to be really independent. You cannot count on men. Right? So then you grow up, you become really independent. And what happens in your love life? Nothing, right? Nothing happens because you're so independent, because the voodoo or the curse is one that is a conversation that you heard from your mother growing up. You don't need a man. So what happens is, again, we put up walls of protection, and we don't get to have a man because we don't really understand trust. We don't trust. And if we don't trust, then what kind of love life are we going to have? Can we have what we think that we want? Love and comfort and partnership and someone so amazing and wonderful and generous and creative and attractive and inspiring. You think you could really have that? Let's just be real. I don't trust men. Don't even know what it is to be loved by a man because of our trauma. Okay, so it's the messages that we've heard that really are the curse. So another example, let's imagine that you grew up and you didn't have a father figure. And look how this ties in to last week's conversation about daddy issues, right? We talked last week about daddy issues, right? It's really our daddy issues and our lack of understanding of love and men and the congruence and the interconnection between us and men. You know, if we don't understand or have not received sweet love from a man who says, I see you, I love you, baby, I have your back, and experience it in your life for real, we don't get it, right? So it reminds me of the movie Trainwreck with Amy Schumer. Have you seen it? If you haven't seen it, it's really great. It's really funny. And the father says to Amy Schumer's character and her little sister, she's maybe 5 years old. And the father says, monogamy doesn't work. Doesn't work. So what happens in her 5-year-old brain? In her 5-year-old brain, she literally translates that onto herself and to her understanding, because now it's an imprint. And so what is her love life like, right? Like in this movie, no commitment. She is a complete and total commitment phobe. She is avoidance, 100% avoidant. So like once we wake up to the fact that, oh my God, it's me, I am the problem. It's my thinking, it's my understanding of men, of love. That's the real problem. So my clients work with us. They get to not only understand that and then unravel it, because mostly we don't see it. We don't see it. Or even if we see it, most people dismiss it. Why? Because they're smart, they're great at work, and oh, I've forgiven, and all of that stuff. And that really makes no difference whatsoever because it has not been handled in the way it needs to be handled. Like there are things you need to know, there are things you need to understand. There's a new learning, there's an embodiment that needs to happen. And that is why I'm going to share these videos with you in the chat once I'm done. That Cecile's like, oh my God, Bari, I'm not cursed. I get it. I understand. So it really does require a new perspective, because if you say I'm cursed, then where's the power there? Where's the ability to take ownership? Where's the ability to get into real vulnerability where we take those walls down, where we take down that heart armor? Because there's no congruence. If you haven't been loved properly and you don't know what that is, and you have walls up, then you're in the business of repelling. So how effective then is your dating, even if you're dating? Because most of you, see if this is you, you get into dating and then you get out of dating. Like, oh, it's so terrible, it's exhausting. Men are so emotionally unavailable and the dating sites attract low quality people. Well, here's the wake up call. They don't attract low quality people. You attract people who are a mirror to your curse, which is fear. So getting to vulnerability is a sweet thing. It is so heartwarming and healing, but we can't get there by just studying why your father, for example, was not present when you were growing up, or why your mother was a certain way. That is called analysis paralysis to me. I did therapy from 12 into my 30s, so I already knew all that stuff, but I still was cursed, a self-created, no shame curse to attract people, again, who were a mirror to my fears. So what do we need to do? Something very different, which is learn about it, take the walls down, get real, become a person who is able to receive love. It's be, do, have. Be someone open to love, uh, curious, in a space of receiving. So it's be ready for love, be clear about love, and then do the actions aligned with someone who is really heart-centered and vulnerable, and instead of repelling love, and then you have love. So it's a whole different paradigm. So I want to leave this with you. It's always the past that holds us back. And until we really take ownership of that, nothing really changes, because then we're just in the business of being busy and distracting. And just like Missy, who realized, oh my God, I didn't have the inner space for love to thrive. I really thought I was cursed. But no, you're not cursed. You just need a huge paradigm shift, and you need a plan to get into congruence and alignment with sweet, healthy love. And then you will have it. But I want to know, are you willing? Are you willing to admit? Are you willing to, take your walls down and be curious and be real and learn and grow so that you can have love? Because it takes something within yourself to do that. Okay, so I'm going to close here, leaving you with a mantra to start to live life consciously when it comes to love. That is one of our mantras. And tonight, June 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern is date night with Bari. And we're going to have a much deeper conversation and some learning about what it is to get out of your own way in love and to have a clear path. So come, bring your friends to register. It's meettomarry.com/date night Bari. We'll drop the link below. And I want to wish you a wonderful day. And I want to know what you think about this idea about getting rid of voodoo and curses versus being empowered. Because as long as you feel cursed, is there empowerment there? No. Can you take real action on top of that? No. And there's always a payoff to keeping things the same. It's always a payoff to staying in the voodoo, I'm cursed mindset. Nothing changes. You don't need to take accountability. You can keep being in Groundhog Day, dating breaks, but your love, your person is waiting for you on the other side. All right. It was great spending this time with you. You're definitely not cursed. And I will see you next week, same time, noon, 12 noon Eastern, every Wednesday. Bring your friends, and we'll have more meaningful conversations about healthy love for yourself. Be love and have love. Bye, guys. See you soon.